Okay, I'm live. This thing was being irritating. It wants me to something orientation lock. I don't know what that means. I don't even care. Anyway, so I tried to go live. I did go live yesterday, but there was an issue with the connection. So I'm live today, and yeah, what's happened in the last couple? You see, I scratched my head there again, tapping that part of the brain. Still need to check if that's where the speech centers or the thought centers, whatever's up there. What's up there? You know what I forgot to do? Little microphone. There it is. Check this out. Right. Forgive me. I don't know if it's going to affect the sound, but I need a mechanic. I need a technician. Oh, wrong one. Wrong one. Okay. Pop that in. Ah, okay. Try again. There you go. Click, click. Now I'm going to push that button there, and hopefully that's going to activate so it goes onto this microphone. All right. I hope that's what's happened. I don't know. Put it on this lapel. Wait, that one. Yes. Okay. Very professional, don't you think? Right. So what's been happening? What has been happening? Quite a lot, actually. It's been a crazy couple of days. I remember I had that big drawing which I ripped into, like, very ceremonially, tore into it. Such a beautiful day. Tore into it, and then I was going to do this dramatic repair. Then I kind of thought, and I put it up. I thought, it's not there. It's not there. It's still not. In fact, it's less there than it was before the drama. And then I just started essentially ripping it up. I think I became inspired by this piece over here. So you may recall I did this little, but I call it I call that an axiom, right? Axiom of my process, or this particular experiment that I'm doing. This is the base, the underlying basis of it. So I did that, and I thought, and then that started kind of eating at me as I was trying to do this other work. And then I basically started tearing it into a grid, the large one, just started tearing it. And then I thought, well, that's not even satisfying enough. And I started tearing, and then became left with a very disordered grid, you could say. Because I had also in the back of my mind, when I was talking the other day about how far can you push the repair, how far can you take something to that point of not being able to return? Like, where is the line? And then the deeper question, why? Why am I doing that? Where's that coming from? And what I'm noticing around me is a lot of people are sewing. There's a lot of repair going on. That's a really interesting thing. Maybe it's because I'm doing it, so I'm noticing it in the zeitgeist, but I'm just seeing threads, and it feels like a metaphor of where we're at, like repair. We're we're at a stage where we're wanting to repair things. We've gone too far and breaking things down, and we want to repair things. We want to repair ourselves. We can only work with what we got, so we have to repair it. And then the other thing that started happening yesterday, which is also interesting, well, in the last couple of days, was I was trying to make something. I was trying to, like, produce an object, forgetting that it's not about making an object. It's a collaboration. Like, I've got to collaborate with, work with this thing that I'm making now is just not something. It's something that I'm now working with. It's emerged in the process of my studio, in this room, and it's now not just an object I'm trying to make to show to you. It's something I'm now working with. I've through my hands, it's somehow come into existence, and and I now have to work with it. I have to be humble to this process. I have to be gentle with it because it's now an object that is damaged. Like, I've damaged this object. Or did I? That's the question. Did I damage it? I'll show you the sort of. This is sort of what we're dealing with here. This is now what I have to piece together. Right. This is one that I've. This is a section that's largely been repaired. It's not done yet, and I can tell it's not done because I can feel that there's some areas that are still wounded, so to speak. So yeah, that's what's happening at the moment. So I'm trying to. I think it's something, some realization that it's a not making something. I'm not making something. I'm working with something to try and. So it's a bit like with my machine. Like when I realized, it's a model of myself, but it's also something that's in the world that I'm working with, and it's. I can't be indifferent to it. Not indifferent, but it has its own presence in the world, just like this now. It has a presence in the world, and I have to honor that. And I have to not see myself as above it, but as something that I'm now working with. Yeah, and weirdly, I've brought it into. I birthed it, I guess you could say. But now, it's that bizarre thing. Whenever you start with a blank canvas, the moment you make that mark, it's an unbelievable moment because you've now created this thing that now is in the world that you participated in. It's coming into the world, and now you can't just be indifferent to it. It's a really fascinating thing. You're creating unnecessary problems for yourself, you could argue. And that's fascinating. Like, we are the species that does that, you know? Like, it really just makes no sense on some level. It just shows we're not a utilitarian animal, okay? So we we look for meaning. We actively seek it. And if it's not immediately in front of us, we try and produce it. So it's I'm reading a lot about science. My background is science, and my current what I'm thinking about is this idea of scientism. How there's this belief, and I think that somehow science alone can give us meaning in the world, or that if we could just rely on our rational selves, everything's going to be fine. We could solve all problems, with science. And I think this kind of process just shows that that's not even remotely possible. We're far more interesting than that. We're far more, not irrational, that's probably the wrong word, but we look for meaning. Yes, and sometimes it comes through the filter of science. Absolutely. But sometimes it comes through other very rational processes. And what worries me, or what concerns me, is that because of the absolute power that science has to measure, to grab a hold of something and to get data on it, to get understanding of it, it has the potential to diminish other ways of knowing. And that's the bit that, and also, you feel like you have to justify it in the face of science, other ways of knowing. And that's, I think, where the problem is. I mean, I'm a scientist, but I'm a scientist. I think science. I love science, but I also recognize that we live in a world that's, well, it's there's more to it than that. There's basically more to it than that. Like this object, you know, there's nothing rational about repairing this piece of paper, but I'm feeling very tender towards it. Like I feel like I really want to save it. You know, it's not just now a piece of paper that I'm trying to find the best aesthetic for. I'm really trying now to rescue it. And I don't know, some part of my brain is, some part of me is now invested in it for whatever reason that I might not be able to articulate. But I'm very thankful that we have processes like that where it doesn't have to have a rational meaning. It can just be a purely emotional response. Like there's a healing here, right? Like if I think about the underlying drive that's pushing me to do this, if there is a healing that's going on. There's also quite a lot of pain because I don't know if you can see, but I've got plasters on my fingers and I've got thimbles, and it's actually quite hard work. I mean, in terms of you know, I have tremendous respect for seamstresses because there's a lot of I'm doing a lot of, definitely a lot of spiking of myself. That's happening a lot, and you know, as I'm going at it, you're probably going to hear the odd yelp of pain coming from me because I keep pricking myself, essentially. You know, not very good at this sewing thing. It's not. You know, I've never been trained to sew, or else I've done a lot of sewing in my life. It seems it's definitely something I've done. So yeah, you know, here we go. So I'm just trying to understand, just like I was talking earlier about the logic of systems when you discover them. And now I'm trying to, I think, with this piece, because this piece is a challenging piece in a way that, in a different sort of way, because it was something already. It was a finished drawing that I decided wasn't finished. So that's an interesting relationship already. Then by taking it apart, I have to deal with the feelings of what have I done, loss, regret, little bits of regret, um, compound what it is that I'm doing now. So the previous drawings, which there were not anything before I started the previous works. Like it's for example, so this work here, it was something. I mean, it was something the machine did, but it was happily going on to being something else. I wasn't regretting that I'd taken this, because what it was always never quite what it was meant to be, is what it felt like. Yeah, the machine had done a marvelous job disrupting it and pulling it apart, but I felt like it hadn't molded it in a way that, you know, was compelling to me, let's say. This is different. This was a work that had, I thought, was resolved. Feedback from other people was that yes, this is a really great, really interesting drawing and fantastic. And then I took it apart. So that compounds everything when that happens. It adds emotional layers to this now, where I want to make it be something else. You know, I want to help it become something else. Um, and I guess that leads to more complicated feelings for some reason. Anyway, so there you have it, folks. There you have it. There's also something marvelously, I won't say futile, because it's not the right word, but I don't know if this is going to be successful, if it's going to become something that's like, um, that is compelling and that is, let's use this word that is so out of fashion, something beautiful. I don't know if it's going to become, I want it to be something beautiful, but I don't know if it's going to become something beautiful. The process might not be enough. The finished product might, the finished, I don't like the word product, the finished result, um, evolved form might not be beautiful. Maybe that's okay too. Maybe that's okay too, because it's the process of becoming whatever it is leads to something, leads to this thing evolving. What was I trying to say? Oh yeah, so I'm doing all this work, and I've got a long way to go, and I don't know what's going to happen. So that's, that is all part of it. It's all part. It's processive. Like I know what I have to. I know I have to repair it. So there's a certain kind of processiveness about that. Um, a iterative process, some kind of iteration going on. No idea, but that's the name. That's why we do these things. That's why I'm doing it. That's why I have to keep going, because I don't know what's going to become, but I have to find out. Just have to. That's absolutely a compulsion. I have to know. That's what I'm going to do. Continue until it is done. And the problem is, not a problem, but the problem is that I get obsessed with it. So the other things I have to do around the house, having people for dinner tomorrow night, I've got to make food, I've got to take dogs for walks, go shopping, going to a presentation this evening, and OJ's barking. Phone pinged. Okay, just a text came through, doesn't matter. Um, and so, it's just, I just want to do this all the time. But obviously I can't, so that's all right. But as you can see, it's quite a hell of an awkward process. It's, you know, finding. I should probably just put a little bit of tape, just to kind of contain it while I work. Doesn't want to stick. I will not bother. I will not bother with you. Okay, what is the wound that I'm trying to repair here? That's the kind of the question I really am asking myself. Carefully. I'm asking myself that question carefully. Because I suspect, with all these things, this friend of mine, Hedwig, talked to me about Gestalt. Like there's some reason, something that I'm trying to repair in myself, presumably. So, and it's fascinating that I'm at this stage now where that is where I'm at. Because you can't escape yourself when you're doing this. When you're doing work that is, I would say, not teleological, i.e., not towards some purpose. You're just responding to what your hands are doing. You can't escape yourself. And that is a wonderful thing. But I suspect the lessons that pop out can sometimes be painful, but they might also be timely. Like there might be a reason why this trajectory is opened up right now. So I don't know the answer to that. But I trust the process. Trust the process. See, now the other thing about this work, it's just occurred to me. The other reason I'm a little bit careful about tearing it and not losing information is that the words here that I've written are from the story of Genesis. And part of this body of work, because I don't want to lose any of the words. I want to write out the whole story of Genesis in a sequential sequence of drawings. And I don't want to lose words. So yes, I'm tearing them up, I'm rearranging them, but I don't want to lose words. So I feel like that would be too much. That would be too much to bear if I lose words. It's already a full process because I'm taking words that are sacred and rewriting them for one thing, transcribing them, copying them, which changes their meaning because I might not have done it perfectly. Rearrange, some of them are illegible, largely illegible, which I don't mind because they are still written. And I just don't want to lose words. I want to retain the integrity of the process by keeping the words. I've run out of thread now, so I have to rethread the needle. So I'll just cut that up. There we go. Right, first things first, let's get the needle. Using my little machine here. Can you see me? Yeah. If you can see this far, but really cool little machine. There we go. Now you put the thread to that hole there. Okay. Through. Lose that. Don't make it too long because I get too many knots bunching up. Okay. Right. Right. Continue. Sometimes you have to use a hard surface of the table. There we go. There's so many layers right now. I've got masking tape to push through as well. There's some masking tape on the other side of here. So I have to really push with quite a bit of force, which my fingers are just not up for. go. There it is. It's a bit of a mystery as to where it's going to come through. I know I could check the back, and I often do, but yeah, it's sometimes a bit lazy or kind of curious to see where it pops out again. Got a funny feeling there's a dog that wants to come in. Not just any dog, OJ. No, wrong I am. Okay. Very nice. Just for your information, today is the 17th or 16th or 17th iteration. So we comfortably passed the halfway mark. Yesterday I did do one, but it actually only recorded 30 seconds, like a minute or two, because the connection went down. So I kind of don't think I'll count, or probably will count it. Because it is what it is, you know? That is what happened. Push, push, push. Ridiculous. Really ridiculous. Too many layers. Okay. Coming to the end of the rodeo, which is wonderful. That's what we'll call the video. We'll call the video the end of the road, maybe. How's that for a title? I don't know. It's just push, push, push. See, everything in the repair is damage in the repair. You know, poking a hole, even when you're repairing, you're damaging it slightly. The pushing force having to get it through weakens it. So, but like the immune system. The immune system is a great system of repair, of getting rid of things that are invading, but it does damage in the process. Any form of repair may be hypothesis. Any form of repair leads to damage. But what you hope is that, oh, that was OJ again. What you hope is that the repair is greater than the damage caused by you know, it's a numbers game. You want the that to just be in excess. Oh, I don't really know what I'm saying. I'm too sucked in here. What have we learned in the 17th as we've gone through 17 of these iterations? Has something crystallized in terms of this way of working in front of the camera? Don't know yet. Don't know yet. Something will. Something will definitely change. I mean, it always does. You know, it's always evolving. But I don't think I know yet why or how. Or what I was even looking for. Just the idea that things do evolve, and if I'm consciously doing this, i.e. with the camera on, something will evolve, and I might not know what it is yet. And that's also fine, of course. I think it's also about learning how to work, about yourself, how you work. I feel like that is something that's could be gained from such an exercise. Okay, I think we're done here. Just going to tidy it up under this row. Just come back through again. mean, in truth, there hasn't been occasionally one or two people watching, but so maybe it'll be different if there are lots of people watching. I don't know. It just might be enough, just the cameras on. I don't know yet. I'm getting more aware of what I'm doing through having the camera on. Is it like that when you're working in a studio with somebody? I don't know. All right, well, that's that, bro. Let's cut it off. There you go. And now what we'll do, I mean, it's beautiful on its own, on its own. It's quite beautiful. But now I'm ambitiously trying to weave them all together to make, so it's this will be the next one, which I've come to soon. Yeah, and we'll see. I think I'll have to do some internal repair as well, which is fine. Okay. Be senior.